Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Eye Opener Society. And thank you again for tuning in. It's so nice to have you sitting here with us. For most of you who heard our last episode, definitely was a little bit more powerful than it normally is, and definitely a lot of cursing and everything else. But, you know, as a sign of the times, that's what
Sorry.
happens. You're fine there, Jennifer. Um, we we have to at times understand that we have a reason behind everything we say, everything we do. And as intense as that was, this time around, I have to say that I'm looking at things in a different perspective. And that's how I like to live my life. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, you know what? I may be a victim of all this nonsense that's going on, but I need to understand that I have to see it from a different perspective instead of, cowering in a corner somewhere, worrying about every single thing coming at me. I'm just taking it as a cruel joke, and I'm taking it now as a joke. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more. But of course, I have Jennifer Miller, my lovely assistant here. So welcome back to the
Um,
show.
Hi, I'm gonna apologize first for ranting and cursing.
No, no, we never.
But
I listen. I know you're kind of new as a co-host, but yeah, when Hannah and I would do this, we are completely unedited. I don't mind using foul language. I just don't use it as a way to garner, any kind of certain attention. But you speak your mind, you speak it as is. I don't believe in editing. I don't believe in censorship. So speak out and speak freely. That's what surely believe in. So let me say this. So let me start it out like this, Jen. I'm looking at life now like, holy crap, I got a lot of nonsense I got to deal with. And it's definitely put me in a bad place. It has. And, I'm not going to say I'm no longer in the bad place. However, I'm looking
Rumble.
at it differently. I'm saying, yeah, this is a cruel joke that has been played on me. And I'm going to ride it out like a joke for the simple fact that I got to look at it humorously. And I think it makes me feel better and it helps me deal with it better if I'm just looking at it as a joke. Yeah. Cruel joke. Yes. Joke. Yes. And I'm like, just looking at myself as a victim. And, that self depreciating humor, I guess, is what's going to get me through this. Do you understand anything of what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do. I do. I mean, you do got to do stuff to make yourself feel better. I mean, you do what you got to do with that. I mean, and the whole fact of, trying to look at it like in a humorous way, I mean, that's good. I mean, changing your perspective and not always thinking things are going to be like this way the entire time and it's going to be miserable forever. I mean, that's a positive. Like that's not someone who's set up camp in a negative place, you know? Um Honestly, I don't know. Every time I go through something, I it's never the same. Not like nothing is ever like for a surefire way to fix something for myself. It's always something different. So I say, hey, you're doing the best you can. I mean, like you've been through a lot. like
Yes,
like
it
I
is.
told you on the text, like, you have every right to go get primal and crazy, go out in the woods and scream and do whatever you need to, because like you've been through it. You've been through a lot of like things that were not you're doing. Like you didn't just, go out and mess some stuff up. But
Right. And I think
yeah.
too, like what you're saying, yeah, I can still go primal if I want, and I can still find that moment to cry if I need to. But ultimately, I need to find what's going to be the most comfortable and most effective to deal with all this. And I'm just
Yeah.
looking at it again. Yeah, it's humorous. Like I talk to my wife because she's always saying, "Hey, we're broke, we're poor," and I'm like, you know what? We've always have been. I always have been. I grew up poor. Um,
Are you new poor or are you old poor? Like you said you grew up poor, so
yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna say
I'm
old poor.
I'm definitely old poor. I mean, I
You
had
get the
gone through
joke.
one aspect of my life where I was pretty much set, and that was through my first marriage because she had money, and I've experienced that. And if I go back to that time, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all simply because everything was materialistic. There was no real,
Oh,
passion about anything. It dealt with money and, oh, have
transactional.
the money and we could just go out and buy it. Now, will I turn down, you know, to have so much damn money to be so filthy, stinking rich. No, I won't turn that down. I mean, I gotta
I
say,
wouldn't either.
yeah, I've been through so many struggles. You know what? That money, and people say money always creates more problems, and I don't believe that for a second. I think it solves every single fucking problem there is. I really do believe so. Any problem, you just throw money at it as long as you have enough. Does that make you a better person? And
No.
that's funny. I'm sitting here and I start, thinking back. Hannah and I did an episode about that where we were talking about like millionaires and all. Why do we hate them so much? Like some of them, they've earned it. They've worked for it. They got their money. Why do we need to judge somebody just because they have more money? They're the ones that are donating the most to charities. Do they really mean to? No, because most of the time their accountants are saying you've got too much money. You have to donate it. This way we could get tax breaks. But even still, money's going to someplace charitable. So we
Right.
don't need to sit here and hate or blame anybody that's poor, anybody that's rich, anybody that's middle class. We don't need to do it. We just have to accept that
Mhm.
money is what's moving the world. Unfortunately, it's not nice, but that's the perspective I want to take. Hey, listen, if that's the case and I'm poor and I fit into the poor category, so be it. There's not much else that I can do. I just have to accept it, and if it keeps coming up, and well, I'm the brunt of the joke, and I'm fine with that.
I can understand that. The reason I brought "Are you old poor or new poor" up, because you said about humor and you want to look at everything humorous. Well, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's an episode where they're trying to survive. He's like, "We're old poor. We'll be fine. They're new poor. They don't know what's going on." And, that's why I said that, just to bring some humor. I thought maybe you'd get the get the joke. But another thing with the money, like, I kind of agree. Like, I don't think money, um I don't think it's the root to all evil, and I don't think it solves everything per se, but I think it makes life fun. I mean, you can buy your toys, freely. You don't have to worry about certain things.
Mhm.
So that makes you happy being like super rich and be able to buy those things. And I don't know anyone that it wouldn't make happy. I think
Yeah.
everybody would be like, woohoo. But oh, I know, I know. When you said that you know what you do with that your money if you were filthy rich, I do too. Yeah, I would people would know. There would be signs. I would have a ton of freaking baby miniature, like, goats all over the place. Yeah. Oh, I'd be doing ridiculous stuff. I definitely would.
Right,
Oh,
and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's just if you as long as you're good, as long as you're happy and you're not doing anything bad about it, then you know what? Yeah, why not? Why not be filthy rich? I think I'll be perfectly fine with that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
so
I said, I know what I would buy. I have a list. I mean, and I think it would really push myself to be happier, because 'cause I'm not, like, unhappy. And, like what I said, I feel for you. You've been hit with, like, so much stuff. I mean, honestly, it has to be a cruel joke from the universe, because if you think about it was like bap, 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 right?
right.
Just continuously bad stuff. And like I said, I think you have the right to go out, be primal, feel how you feel, you know. Eventually you'll find a way, like, that's just you feel purely, in the right place, right direction, and just at peace with yourself. Just, like, it's the ebbs and flows of life. We have these things that just sometimes happen continuously
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And it even makes me feel at ease too, because yeah, sometimes you lose focus about that. As much as I could sit here and
Mhm.
preach to everybody, you sometimes once you're going through that bad thing, yeah, you definitely start to lose that direction and you forget about it. And it's not through anybody's fault, it just happens and you get thrown off course.
It does, and you know what also messes with your essence too, because you have that, like, self, you have your center, you know yourself really well, like, especially with you, with your meditation. I mean, come on, like, you have that center. Bad stuff happens, it will mess with that center, and you'll feel uneasy, you'll feel doubt, you won't feel so certain with the choices that you make, like, "Oh, is this gonna be, like, the right move?" And then you sit on that, and it sets you sometimes in a bad direction. If you can look at, like, the way you're looking at it, like, that the humor part's gonna bring you comfort, hell yeah, do that. Like, just keep your essence and self kind of centered and know that this is just like an ebb and flow of life. Like, bad stuff does happen, but then comes good stuff. Or, maybe meh kind of stuff. I mean, that's not bad. Like, I would take meh any day, any
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, and I think to reach that plateau of extreme bliss, I mean, it's
Right.
achievable,
It's a
and
lot of work.
it is, there's a lot of work to get there. So, yeah, just to take it at that lower level at first and accept it and say, "Wow, I'm very thankful for this," and then your life can you can climb those steps from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think, yeah, like that's a good way to look at it. I mean, that's a really good way to look at it.
Mm,
Just like leveling up. Like, I want to be at this level, like set a goal. Like, I want to be at this level at this time. And even if you don't get there, you can always go back and, rearrange some things and be like, I was busy this day, or, there was a couple things going on, so I wasn't able to do and get to where I wanted to be. Like, don't lose focus, like tenacity, stay with it, you
right.
know?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's definitely a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I try to express too to people. It's just like, yeah, if you take all of the bad things that are going on in your life and just putting it into a bucket or whatever, and then taking all of the good things that you have going on and put it into a different bucket and weigh it. And if it's leaning towards the negative, well, it's time to remove even just a couple of things. Not the if you can't dump it all out, just remove a couple of things out of that basket, kind of level it out. Because even if you're on just a level playing field, you're
Yeah.
still moving ahead. It's easy to
What you
remove.
said.
Yeah. If you remove just one thing, something achievable,
Mm,
it could balance it out. Yeah. So this is, it's a
that just made
form of
me think of
thinking. Did
something.
it? Go for it. Tell me what
So,
you're thinking.
like when I went to that sweat lodge, right? I was telling you about that.
Hmm.
And you say about removing things. Like, I think about like this. I was there and they asked why you were there, and I was like, I started thinking, and I'm like, I'm here because I want to remove things that no longer serve me a good purpose in my life at all, right?
Hmm.
And they like were shaking their head, like they knew what I was talking about. You could just see it on their faces, like that's all I needed to say. And it was just like, I got you. I know what you mean. So when you're saying remove stuff, like that really resonates with me. Like I agree with that. Like that flows.
Hmm.
I mean, I when you can do stuff like that, it is a game changer. Like it really, even immediately when you realize that before you even start making the moves, it just relief. Like that's like the biggest thing right
Hmm.
there. And once you get that, you can just start thinking clearly and go straight forward with whatever you need to do with like a clear conscience, like you feel great. It works.
Hmm.
So what you just said there, like, yes,
Cool.
yes, I
I'm glad.
100%.
Yeah, I'm glad it resonated because I'm hoping this resonates to pretty much anybody that's listening. But you do have to understand that it is a mindset, and it's up to you
It
to
is.
actually do that. I can't come to you and say, "Okay, I'm going to fix your problems." Fix them just like that. 2 baskets, and you could just do it by writing things down. Okay, what am I, you know, what's making me happy? What's making me sad? Put that list. Okay. And again, if that negative list is longer, then look at the things that are immediately achievable and
Mm.
remove those. And yeah, you're going to balance. And then it makes it easier because now, oh, I just felt lighter. I feel better now. Now you got another positive, something else to go in that positive, and you're going to tilt the scales to the better, yourself. So, yeah, I'm glad you've seen, what I was trying to do, and I hope other people can
Yeah,
see that same thing.
I mean, I got kind of what you were saying when we were like texting, and I was like, I think I know where this is going. I'm like, this is good. This is gonna be good. But now, like with this, like that's not where I thought it was going. Like
Yeah.
this is good. This is better. I was like, I just yeah, much better.
I have so many thoughts, and I don't know where I'm going half the time. So, it's just
Good, me too.
yeah, that's why when I text you, "Hey, listen, let's get on the air," because I just have this idea that's going on, but I didn't focus it, but I just wanted to spill it out because as soon as I started to change that perspective, I started to feel better, and I said, "Ooh, this would be great now to record something while it's still fresh in my mind." and it's something I can start living on from here on out. Am I going to run into bad things? Yeah, more likely I'm probably going to be, running into more bad things, but it's going to be easier to handle at this point. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
I'm just hoping to make things easier instead of just feeling so damn anxious about everything all the damn time. So, hey, do I know I gotta go file my taxes and, give all of my life
Oh,
savings over to the government? Yeah. But you know what? That's the joke of it, Again, it's a joke that we have to do this as, human beings, but it's gotta be done. Is it gonna make me further in debt? Yes. Did I put myself further in debt? No. That's outside. So I have no real control over that. Me as a single
I mean,
person don't have any. We need to come together again as a huge every single person on the planet needs to come together, but we don't because we don't have that cohesiveness. So it's up to us as individuals to play those games and trying to make ourselves feel better about doing things that we don't want to do.
do you sometimes feel like when you think like I'm gonna do what I need to do and just who gives a shit if people don't like it. Do you ever feel like sometimes like you might be like messing somebody else's life up? Sometimes I think about that. Like, am I causing problems for them, like doing what I want to do? And do I care? I mean, to an extent, yes, but to an extent, no, because I'm living my life for me, right? And sometimes I think about that stuff. I just wonder if other people sometimes like that just pops in their head, when they're trying to work on themselves and work towards better things for themselves. Like, you know,
Mm.
it's just my brain. Things
It's
just pop in
well,
there occasionally.
well, you have a legitimate question because we universally, cosmically, we're all connected. We're all coming from that same
Right.
source. And so, yeah, anything that you do is definitely affecting everybody else around you. So, yes, you definitely, but are you really wrecking somebody? If you know that you're wrecking somebody's life, then, well,
Oh, that's evil.
yeah, now you know what you're doing. And if you're not changing anything, yeah, I would say it's more of a problem. But if you're focusing on yourself to make your life better, I don't think you're really, because I'll put it to you this way: if you do what's making you happy and you become happy, that happiness spreads to the people around you and it makes other people happy. So always
But isn't
remember.
there certain situations that would cause, like, okay, and this has nothing to do with me. I'm gonna repeat, nothing to do with me.
Okay, we'll ignore everything
Okay.
about you.
Let's
Okay.
just say, like, like just a married couple, like the one person is just blissfully happy, da 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 da, going about their day, but the other partner is not happy about certain things,
Mhm,
right? So they try to discuss it, it doesn't work. So they just think, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go off and do what I wanna do." Um, Whether that be, like, cheat or do something that's gonna upset their partner, and they know that's going to.
mhm.
Like, I mean, that's a different situation, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's
Sometimes.
different situations
Yeah, that's
to your happiness
yeah.
or doing what you wanna do to make yourself happy. Do you know what I'm
I
get like,
get
do you know
what
what
you're
I'm saying?
saying. You're really in another category altogether, though, with that. And oh gosh, I can't even begin to tell you the episodes I'm going to have with Hannah once she comes back into this and she's able to talk. Because believe me, I think it's going to answer so many questions. But when it comes to
No.
things like that, you're in a situation now. This isn't about fixing your life, but if you're in a situation, whether it be a relationship or something that you need to get out of or you're not happy in, yeah, I sometimes staying makes things worse, sometimes leaving makes things worse. It's all gonna depend on the situation, and there's a lot
I was
involved with it.
I was kinda more just, like, using that as, like, an example
Mhm.
for, you know, doing your own thing and fuck everyone else if they're not happy with it. I mean, maybe that was a really bad example. Maybe I shoulda used, like, people studying or something in, like, a classroom type of thing.
Okay.
Eh, it
Yeah,
was more just, like, situational, like, there's always different situations where sometimes, like, you should consider other people around you too, not just yourself going forward, if that makes sense.
it
Like,
does make
going
sense.
forward and working on being happy. I mean, not that you can't be happy with certain things, but, like, things that are gonna be a faster gratification or, maybe something that's more satisfying for your journey, like, to be happy
I think
and
at
to be at
some
peace.
Yeah, I think I could sum up what you're saying. If it's gonna make me happy to have more money, and to get more money, I'm going to rob the people around me. That makes me happy, but it's gonna destroy everybody else around me.
That's kind of where I was going at that. I
Yeah.
think the relationship thing was, like, the dumbest thing I could have probably brought
It's
up
alright.
as
No,
an
not at all.
example. I was just trying to think of something that would really, like, show, like, how it would affect other people in a way, because people really focus on with cheating as being something that really affects a person. So I
Mhm.
was trying to just use something more of like a but yeah, like the bank thing, yeah, you lose all your life savings. I mean, that's gonna be heartbreak, hardship, you know, not good.
Right.
And the person that did it, like, "Hey, I got that money, I got where"
Right.
so, that's where I was going on with that example.
Yeah,
It
and
was bad.
that's the same as
Sorry.
scammers. That's no, you're fine. No, it's the same thing with scammers. Scammers are gonna make themselves
Oh,
happy by
shit.
stealing all this money, but in the same time, they're gonna ruin other people's lives. So yeah, we do, again, cosmically, we're all connected. Everything that we do, everything we change about us is going to affect everybody else. But if you're making yourself happy in a regular
Mhm.
way that don't hurt others, you're now happy, and that happiness can spread on
Yeah.
to everybody else.
Yeah, but I was more along the lines I was using all this stupid stuff,
And that's
but
no problem.
I think there is situational things where other people need to be considered before
Mhm. There
doing
are.
exactly what you want to do, and it's kind of
Mhm.
basically what I was saying, but, you did it a lot better, you said it a lot better. Me, I get stuck in my head, and I just start,
Mm,
trying
I
to
get
think
that
creatively how
too.
to present something, and sometimes it just
Sometimes it don't work, and that's
doesn't work.
okay. That's okay. It happens.
It happens.
That's why I wanted to jump and do this episode real quick 'cause, in about 4 or 5 hours, I will lose everything that I wanted to talk about, so that's why I wanted to do it. But I think
Ugh.
that's the message I got out there, and I do appreciate you joining me for this, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Um, Hopefully this episode 2 does help you as well, because, yeah, the one thing I learned, everybody's going through this. Everybody's going through this challenge, some worse than others, and that's why I'm saying I might not be in the worst place somebody else is. So I just want everybody to be happy and to be as happy as you possibly can. And I wish everybody, all the best luck, love, everything else that you want out of life. Absorb it all in and make it your own. And Jennifer Miller, I thank you absolutely for
Well, thank you.
being here, and we'll see everybody on the next episode. Thanks again.